You're watching Youreonthespot.com.
Is being gay or bi the new trend?
Heterosexual, asexual, bi, transgender. Love is love. And as long as, if you're gay and say you're originally straight and you start forming attraction towards someone of the same gender, love is love. Like I said, if you feel that energy and it's reciprocated, to each his own, let them do their thing.
Throughout history that, women can touch each other, like, maybe not so much in a sexual way, but they're like, oh, you have, like, oh, I love your body, it looks so beautiful. I can't walk up to my friend over here and be like, yo, man, your pecs are amazing. You can't just hit it up, man. Just hit it up. You see what I'm saying? Like, where that line is drawn for guys.
The trend, do you think it's, an actual thing, or?
I think they're just acting out and trying to make a statement. Everyone, look at me, I'm this, I'm that. They don't get noticed in school or something. So hey, I'll switch it up and I'll do this. So
right.
I think moral barriers have kind of been broken down over time, and what was taboo 60 years ago is now nearly mainstream, and it becomes okay to experiment, it becomes okay to try, and the youth, the kids of an impressionable age are taking that and they're running with it, trying to express themselves in any which way they can, like my friend here said.
Be gay
I can tell you that having a 14-year-old daughter in Asheville, North Carolina, about 5 of her friends are bisexual.
Right.
So it's very trendy.
It might be trending now, but I don't think people didn't always want to do it. I think people before, they wanted to explore, they wanted to try different things. They had certain inclinations, but it wasn't. Now it's viewed as less bad. It's we're accepting.
There's societies where sexual have a significant place in society, and if I'm not mistaken, in the region of India, homosexual males are let alone. Plus, they are advisors for the fathers who are trying to choose the right bride or groom for their daughter or son. So at least they have a position in society.
Do you still stereotype?
This good friend of mine, owns like family, his name is Diono. He was having for calculus, and he was having a breeze. He got A-, and he was openly admitting to all of us that back in Japan he's the dumbest one in the classroom. And I said, come on. Man, I'm just an average Asian, so...
I really have a lot of fun with stereotypes about black people like fried chicken, and they speak a certain way, but minorities don't think. They go to restaurants.
Stereotypes have been around as long as we all can remember, and unfortunately it's something that I think people end up accepting through their own development. You grow up in a certain atmosphere, in a certain area, in a certain realm, and you pick that up. You pick up what you hear, you pick up what you read, you pick up what your peers act like, what your parents act like. And I personally try not to stereotype people, but it's very difficult. Because first impressions are a hard thing, and when you have a preconceived notion going into meeting people, it's tough to break that barrier within yourself to let somebody else in. There are entities that that capitalize on personifying those personalities and those stereotypes for their own gain.
Welcome to the Roosevelt 2.0 in Ybor City, 1812 North 15th Street in Tampa, Florida. We are an event venue, a music venue, art gallery, educational center, and business incubator. So we have lots of events going on here every month, every week, every night. Organic Cafe and Smoothie Bar is open for business Monday through Friday. And we have raw foods, organic smoothies, juices, coffee, tea, free Wi-Fi. If you have an idea for a class or an event that you want to hold, contact us at creativityandcommerce.com or facebook.com/Roosevelt 2.0.
Because people do think and it's easier for us to stereotype than to consider everyone as a particular story, as a particular person, and you have your particular interests. Instead of, oh, you're Puerto Rican, so you know how to choose. I haven't even pulled a gun in my life, you know? I'm not Puerto Rican, but I haven't. And I think it's just easier for people to stereotype, to be able to generalize. We all love to generalize, you know? Instead of doing our homework, yeah.
Right.
Because everybody believes it. Everybody goes by, it's like a guy you see a guy with dreads, everybody believes that he's a drug dealer and stuff like that, and that's not always the case, but because everybody else believes it, that's what everybody else goes by.
I think we're basically afraid of what we don't know, and that's the easiest way to deal with it. It's basically
just easy.
Yeah, it's the easiest way to deal with it.
Not admit your ignorance. Say you do know.
Put it in a capsule. You don't have to learn about it. You're just, you're that. And and it feels more comfortable for you, and keep it in a nice little bundle. You don't have to deal with it, and you're off along your merry way. Rather than having to get into what's the substance there, what's it all about, what's behind it, what drives the person, what drives the issue, and then you got to put, some thought and understanding into it, and some people are just too distracted with what they got going on during the day.
He understands a lot.
Oh, okay.
He understands a lot.
Yeah, of understanding. Like I said, we could be somewhere and people will be talking about you, and they don't know you understand the language. All right, I'm like, what'd you say? They're like, oh, excuse me. So yeah.
Okay. All right.
Like and I miss the Irish up in here, and I got to tell you, as Irish, we were well on the way to ruling the world at one time, and then they invented the drink, and it was all downhill from there. Are you wanting to buy a Slurshie? We've done your lotto today. Don't kick my Slurshie, Mochi. Thank you. Come again.
I'm Dominican. I grew up in the Dominican Republic, and I saw the word differently. And I somehow thought that my point of view was right. I think you just tend to believe that you're right, that your point of view is right, no matter where you're from. If anything, I think we're more exposed in America to other points of view. So we are more open to consider them, at least, if we want to.
U.S. doesn't have some significantly poor people. What I'm saying is they really had no patience for it because it had seen absolute total destitution and despair. So, when someone in the U.S., in that area was getting X amount of money from the government and could live a certain way and even choose to live another way, as compared to what they had seen, where people had no choice, they had no concept of why anybody could ever even complain about it.
Other countries? Yes. And they're more liberal when it comes to sexuality and just anything, even drugs and all of that.
Okay.
I'm Costa Rican,
you are? Okay.
I'm very close-minded. They just have a mentality where if it's against the church, it's just wrong.
That's a big deal. To us, that's a huge deal where we have so many luxuries that we take for granted that other countries don't get perspective on, that we kind of lost our frame of focus when it comes to the rest of the world and seeing what's going on outside of our borders. We lose that perspective. And so, whereas I might have to spend $3.75 for a gallon of gas, I have a roof over my head, I have air conditioning, I have food in my refrigerator. it's really not that bad of a place to be. And I think an outsider looking in sees us as spoiled.
Stay tuned for You're on the Spot.
What's the difference between making love and having sex?
I feel like having sex is just getting off, and there's no like emotional attachment towards partner, whoever you're making love. It's like an energy connection, a soul connection, you know, as well as physical. It's mind, body, and soul connection.
I don't have that kind of relationship with someone where I try to just have sex with them and then I can be on my way. Me personally, I can't do it. You know, that goes back to my faith. That goes back to, you know, just how I feel I should live my life. If I do that, I mean, I think I'd probably be sick. You know, I mean, but that's just me. I mean.
So like this guy, really I'm going to give you all the dirty details. This guy, he's a missionary, and I've known him since I was in high school.
Right.
And he came over here, he's a missionary, he's a preacher, and he is in England, and he came over here and his marriage was like not good. He actually went through a separation,
right.
And he and I kind of reconnected through Facebook, and we were going to have this wild, crazy night of sex because I'm wild and crazy. I'm talking like, you have no idea, right? Like, no, I'm serious. So I meet him in Port St. Lucie at a hotel, and it was nothing like what we planned. Because, yeah, right, exactly. That's it. So totally
what happened? I mean, it was just
we made love, and it was nothing like what we planned.
Wow.
Nothing.
Was it good though?
No, it was awesome. It was just like it was a little too intense.
I don't just have sex, so I don't.
But what's
The difference would be like, okay, we're out on the strip tonight. You meet somebody, you go fuck them in the back. You know what I'm saying? Or go. That's having sex. Like your relationship, whatever. Like I've been with a guy for 6 years, so we pretty much. Yeah.
So you consider that no matter what, it's making love.
Yeah, no matter what. I mean, it gets boring after a while, you know, but it's still you're making love to the person you love, you know.
Right.
It just sometimes can be more intense. Like you can make love in an elevator. It just depends on who you're making love with.
Yeah. Have you ever done that?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Build me out, only to take me back apart. Yeah, said the word.
On the Spot presents JS.
Originally from Detroit, Michigan. 313 stand up. I'm Detroit's lost child, man. What's up, y'all? 313 stand up, man. Keep your head up.
Lost in the days, thinking about the last days. Praying to the one above, give honor and praise. Time ain't forever, man, life is like a maze. Got me at the crossroad, looking both ways. Had a rough beginning, hoping for a better outcome. X on my head, got me feeling like Malcolm. Blessed with a gift, yeah, I'm black with potential. Obama's state of mind, got me feeling presidential. Look at what I've been through, life full of misery. Devil on my shoulder, but I never let him get to me. Praying for delivery, gotta keep my head up. Trying to stay focused, can't get hopeless, but I'm fed up. Gotta get my bread up, my family need to eat too. If you can't make the call, then tell me who I need to speak to. See, people will turn you down and tell you no just cause they can. But if you ain't never had the struggle, you don't understand. Stuck in these streets,